Okay, let's get started. It's 2 p.m. It's time for another. Uh, it's time for another 2 p.m. Not a Twitch stream. It's not a Twitch anymore. It's YouTube. YouTube stream at 2 p.m. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we got. Um, Today's going to be kind of interesting in terms of Pegular, folks. Now, let me get to that in just a second. Here, let me switch to webcam here real quick. Um, so we got some work to do on the challenges. We'll see. And we're probably going to be covering some of the past two challenges already on that. So um, this just might be a rehash of both of them. So I don't know if there's really going to be any like new content um, for this one because um, I keep on getting uh, I'm still like getting emails saying, "Hey, well, I did it and did it this way and everything kind of worked out," and it's like, so I don't know. I don't know what's really kind of going on that front. So um, it feels like I'm doing the right kind of steps, but maybe I'm not somehow. I'm not sure. What I should probably do is ask my friend to kind of watch me as I do this particular section. Um, but she's also at work, so that might be a little difficult for her. Plus, I wanted to redo yesterday's challenge because I had some issues there as well. I was getting an error at the very end, and it might have been the fact that I took the um, I proceeded too far, in the data entry. So maybe it was like going, hey, we were expecting new, but we saw resolved or, some crap like that. Um, so that's why it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. So we're probably going to be going back over those last two challenges that I did there. So apologies to anybody that might be hoping for new content, but yeah, it's probably not going to happen. There's probably a lot for me to kind of cover on that. Then after that, we got video uploads to handle, and then hopefully we can do Final Fantasy VII, the original, not the remake. Just want to point that out later on tonight for the gaming session. Um, my last attempt at trying to play Final Fantasy VII was met with the fact that the game would not launch. Um, I sent a bug report to Squaresoft about the fact that it wasn't working anymore. You know, they did like a recent patch and everything just stopped working. So that was I modified like all the you know compatibilities and stuff like that just to see if I can maybe try to get it to work. But yeah, it didn't. I can't remember if there was a patch to it since then. I wasn't really watching all that much along those lines. So I don't know. But we'll see if that'll work. If it doesn't, then I might. Um, I mean, I don't really have any other like games kind of scheduled to take its place. Um, um, but at the same time, I mean, I'm having a couple games already that are giving me some trouble on launching them through Steam, and it's a little problematic. It's a little, I might have to do some troubleshooting. Just saying during the game session. Um, if Final Fantasy VII isn't working, then we're probably gonna just switch it over to like maybe just like a just chatting people blog session and just try to see if I can do some kind of investigative work to try to see if I can get it to get both Dragon Age Origins from yesterday to work and um, Final Fantasy VII to work. So that's everything that's currently on the docket for today. Um, so in terms of Pega, let me go ahead and um, bring that up here real quick. There we go. Okay, so ooh, I need to. My nose is running a little bit. Be right back. All right, and I'm not seeing the chat right at this moment in time. Let me activate that. There we go. Not sure why I wasn't showing the chat or why I wasn't bringing up the dock automatically, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so now concerning Pega, let me I say this at the very beginning so no one gets like confused as to what this is all about. I'm currently working towards getting my certification for system architect and maybe business architect as well, but main goal, get the system architect. Okay. That's my goal. Okay. Now, that's a little too wide there. I want to get the, there we go. Now, one of the things that I want to mention though, okay, is the fact that one, I'm not endorsed by Pega, so don't feel like, I'm getting like some kind of special treatment from them or anything along those lines, okay? Um, they're not endorsing this. I never asked for an endorsement either, so don't don't feel like I'm doing this, because for for them in a sense, I guess. Um, you know, although they are definitely getting some benefit from me and the fact that I'm, running through a lot of their modules and um, challenges and saying, hey, there's some problems. Um, but that's here nor there. Okay, everybody should be doing that anyway, right? If there's a module, if there's a challenge or something like that that you're not really all that if you're having some trouble with, let them know. Okay, because that if you're having a problem with it, then there might be like 10 other people that are just having the same exact problem. So, or I'm or more. Okay, it depends on what they're having an issue with, right? Um, so also, I am not an authorized training partner. I'm working for my certification right at this moment in time. They should already have their certifications already, so don't feel like um, I'm not their training partner. I'm this. You should not consider this an instructor-led training. Okay, that should feel more like one-on-one instruction with a Pega employee that should know Pega like the back of their hand. You know, oh, what's that spot on my small joke. Um, but no. So don't feel like you know I'm I'm an official instructor. Okay, I'm just a software dev that's trying to work towards getting his certification. That's it. Okay. So, okay. Let's get to the system architect section here. And we will go ahead and go into the low code app builder. Um, now, we'll go ahead and go into creating a child case, which is, one that we were having some difficulty with at the very beginning, right? Um, I don't know why it's showing the instance here, but let me just do a full Pega reset, okay? Because um, I just want to make sure that um, there's no real confusion. Matter of fact, what I want to do right now is I'm going to walk through steps again, seeing it feels like both you and their employee isn't getting same error. Um, Streaming on YouTube if you want to. Okay. So, gotta wait for this to activate. Um, yeah, this is Okay, so let me look back at the email here. Um, I hope you don't, I got an email saying, I hope you don't mind, but I took a look at your challenge instance. It looked like it had already been reset, which I mean, I've been resetting it every single time that I come into it brand new. When I reconfigured your system following the challenge instructions, I did not see the error and the child service case was created correctly. Not sure if you or your friend already made some changes to the system. Otherwise, would you mind taking a look and letting me know? Um, Here, let me email them and let them know. Try to stream the challenge again now. On YouTube. Um, Going to go through those steps one after another. Just see. Oh, maybe to see if anything changes, but I doubt it. You are welcome to join and see what I'm doing, and maybe we can troubleshoot the issue right then and there. You have time. All right. Uh, so, um, okay, there's no, it's not coming up. We're gonna do a refresh. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, it's still having some issues, I guess. Would have figured that it would have already been up and running. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll be patient on this. Um, so to be honest, I don't know what else to really change. I mean, I've already kind of gone through these steps, you know, twice now, and you know, um, so and you know, the idea of like, hey, you have to go back out and save something or anything along those lines, and it's like, um, now, okay, I understand, like, hey, you know, you're seeing the error, but I'm not. Okay, I get that. It can be really problematic if um, if you're trying to go through work, you're seeing an error and someone else isn't, then how do you handle that kind of situation, right? Um, they would have to, you would the only thing that I can think of is that they would have to be like watching me go through these steps and see if there's something that I'm doing that might be, outside of their norm, or, something that they might be doing somewhat differently. Maybe there's some keyboard inputs that I'm doing that, they're, you know, um, they're not fully aware of. Um, I don't know. So, um, let's see, state. So I got the list at the end. Maybe it was due to a vague address. Okay. Still prepping an instance for me. Okay. It's taking its sweet time on this. But we'll wait. Um, so one of the things that my friend is talking about is um, they're not really talking about it here, okay, but it's pretty much in this within this step here, okay. Um, in the create stage, okay, there's a number of text boxes that you have to modify to um, well, I mean, you don't have to modify them. They're not required, or at least a good majority of them are not required. Um, but for the um, for the service section here, um, it's looking at the address, the city, and the state. So one particular user said, pick the city, pick the state, of Boston and Massachusetts, because that was, two of, the city and state that I guess is common. But um, maybe it's because of the um, like an incorrect address. Like maybe because I'm using a fake address because I don't really want to use any address that is, you know, um, like accurate to any like home or anything like that. I know unless I want to be causing problems for some, random person out there, right? Maybe I'll just pick like City Hall, Boston, and just get the address there, and I'll throw that down. Um, but you know, the um, you know, I would have feared that, just having the city and state, the fact that you're getting the listing of services that, you can just, select the service and click go, that would be perfectly fine. It would still work that way because you're still selecting that service. But maybe it is trying to maybe create some form of, you know, um, Google Map connection. Like, hey, I'm not finding this particular address in this particular city, so therefore I'm just gonna fail outright. I don't know. I don't know if that might be the issue at hand right at this moment in time. So, um, hmm, there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch this instance, and then we'll just kind of slowly go through it, right? Here, you know what? Let me try to get this into. I mean, everybody knows the steps by now. Okay, what I'd like to do is, um, we'll go ahead and select um, the challenge here. Okay, and what I want to do now is just I'm just going to go ahead and you know have my steps over here on my left, so I can just go through them, um, and then I'll have the exercise on the right hand side here, and I'm just gonna type all this out. No copying, no pasting, no nothing like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and just handle all this like how you would normally you know handle the process, for the most part. Okay, so we're gonna wait for that um, to finish off there. Um, this is where I believe it's actually validating the address, but there's no mention about it in the course nor the exercise. So doing something unexpected as to advance the case with no address breaks it. Though the exercise pretty much says advance until service. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, though, Fabula. That's what I'm thinking about as well. Okay, well, it's gonna take some time to load up the system, so let's see. So here's what I would say. Okay. Um, you know, if if there is indeed a problem with like the address, right? Like you have um right now you're letting the users enter in the address. Okay. We've been doing like the city and the state, right? Um, but maybe it's the fact that I'm using a fake address. Maybe it's because I'm just kind of putting some random address in there. Maybe it's like trying to somehow validate it, you know, like how my friend is stating. But because it's an incorrect address fully, like it's checking Google Maps and it's like I'm not finding that address whatsoever. maybe it's somehow um, causing that error. Um, Now, there's two problems with that. One, um, you know, the steps aren't mentioning the fact that you need an accurate address to go through the steps. Okay. Two, um, there should be um, there should be like a catch in, in that particular step process to state that, um, the address was not filled out correctly, in the um, in the create stage. So they would need to go back into the create stage and modify that address, or maybe bring up a window that will have them modify said address like right then and there to fix the issue. Um, but um, Now, if it was me, I'd be wondering why you're entering the customer information. Well, why are they not putting like the customer information's location directly in? Like, do you have a drop down for customer information? Why not have the drop down for the location, or have the fields already, you know, entered, automatically for the user? You know, the customer should have an address on file. Why not use it? But we'll move on. So first off, let's go. We need to add a new process to service. So in navigation pane, App Studio, click case types, click assistance request, which is what we did. Hover over the service stage, and click the more, which, I mean, there isn't anything here stating more, so that's a little bit of a problem there. But uh, they probably should have this more as the what's it called? Not necessarily ellipses. There's like a specific name for the dot 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 there, but we do the add process and new process. Now it will do the service and service one there. Um, in the new process field, enter create service case. Under the create service case process, click step to create a new step in the stage. Click more, which, I mean, you see the dot 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 there. So, I mean, if you're used to the program, then you can probably, already tell that, this is what they're kind of referring to. But, you know, up at the very top, they don't have more. So, um, so that's all. Um, More, we go to automations, and we scroll on down to create case. Well, we don't necessarily need to scroll down because it's like right there, but we do create case. Creates one or more cases from the current case. So we select that to add the create case step to the process. All right. Next, in the I'm on step 6, by the way, in terms of the um, if anybody's kind of curious right at this point. So in the create case step, enter create service case to replace the default text. Great, done. In the contextual properties pane on the right, in the create the following case list, select service to create a service case. So we're selecting this one to create this service case. Okay, nothing else needs to be selected or anything along those lines. They're telling me not to click any buttons or anything along that, which, I haven't done in the past, so I'm just not gonna start now. Nothing in the audit note or anything along those lines. So next, step 8 on the service 1 step, click the delete icon, which obviously we're not really seeing right at the moment. Let me go right over here. Okay. Click the delete icon to delete the step. Ensure that the service stage matches the following image. So we delete that. We have this set up right at this moment in time, and service, assign service provider, select service provider, notify customer of assignment, step, create service case, and step. So the image is an exact duplicate of what we have in the challenge at this point. So we move on to step 9, which is just saying click save to complete the assistance request workflow. That's it. That's all we need to do apparently. With the assistance request, we are going to go ahead and move on to part 2, configure the service case type. So here, we're all done saving. Okay, so we're moving on to step 1, which is in the navigation pane of the App Studio, which we're still in the App Studio. Navigation pane, click case type, and then service to open the service case type. Okay, click settings tab to open the service case type properties. So obviously, there's nothing else other than the settings tab there. So there you go. Open that up. In the general section, under availability, clear the show in new menu checkbox, which disables the service case creation in the create menu. So we're disabling that. Okay. So, it shouldn't show anymore, right? Now, okay, so that was step 3. Just, part 2, step 3, just in case anybody was kind of wondering. Now I look at the image here and I want to make sure that everything, looks the same, right? We got service, we got 10, we got work execution, we got S dash, the change icon. They have create step view when users create a new case, check marked, and so on and so forth. Okay, everything looks like an exact duplicate of, what they have on their image. Matter of fact, they even have, 0 there and a check mark down there. So everything looks pretty much the same. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next step, step 4. Click save to save the service case type. So click and save. So there we go. Let's let it process everything. Okay. They have a little note here, just to right below step 4, above confirm your work, they have a little note saying to reflect the service case type settings, log off and log in back to the application. So we're going to go, straight out and log off. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and put in our username and password. And we're logging right back in again. Okay. According to their note. Okay. So now we're back in the overview. Okay. Now in the App Studio header up here, click preview to preview the application. So we're going to do that. Okay. So it's going to start loading in. In the navigation menu on the left side of the user portal, or we're currently in the user portal, click create to confirm the service case is not displayed, which service is not there. So, the only thing that is there is the assistance request, which is what we're going to be wanting. Click assistance request to create a new assistance request case. Okay, so we're creating a brand new case right at this moment in time. Okay, which will bring up the, um, you know, it'll bring up the menu. Or at least I would hope that it would bring up the menu. Okay, there we go. So, new assistance request. Okay, we're identifying the issue. So, um, normally I just select the flat tire, continue. We have account ID, which, they have multiple. I've been selecting the J Mitchell. Okay, now they do, full name, email address. What they should do as well is have the, you know, accounts address here as well, as part of the um, customer, um, data object. Have another, have a reference, um, have a reference to the address. Okay, contained within customer that points to the, their address, so that it will, it should automatically come up when this is selected. Okay, that's what I would probably do. Okay, oops, because here we have the service address, right? Um, uh, but here's the thing. Okay, let's hold off on a second here, because the assistance request, okay, might not be at the customer's home location, right? Okay, they might be stranded, somewhere, you know, like they might be at a gas station, random gas station or something like that. So their, street, city, and state might be different than their home address, right? So, um, so while, it might have, you know, Boston, Massachusetts, and, the home address, okay, they might be in a different location. So the location might need to be updated. So, I mean, while um, while it could be their home location, it might be something else. So this should still be modifiable, or, be able to be changed. But, you know, why not put in, as default, their home address here? You know, just putting that out there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and search up City Hall, Boston, Massachusetts. And I'm going to try to get the address. There we go. So 1 City Hall Square. Okay, so I'm using an official, you know, address right at this moment in time, to complete the service address here, right? So we'll go continue. Now, maybe they're looking for an official make and an official model, which really they shouldn't. They shouldn't really bother, for this particular example. But just to make things easier on myself, I'm going to go ahead and put in, an actual make and model. Uh, you know, we're going to go and put in color red, and then we're going to put in last year's model this time around. You know, I was putting in fake values in there because it shouldn't matter, for this particular instance. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're doing it yourself, if you're trying to, verify these properly, then you might want to look up um, like an actual data, car database that has all these make and models and so on and so forth. Um, so that you can confirm that it is indeed a accurate make and model. But I mean, this is meant to get a child case and stuff like that. So it really shouldn't matter all that much in this particular case. You shouldn't necessarily be worried about, um, or Pega shouldn't necessarily be worried about, confirming all this information either. But I digress. Let's move on. Okay, so we're creating this. Okay, because it says in step 4, advance the case to the resolution stage and make note of the assistance request case ID. Okay. Um, Now, once again, we have one that is, um, you know, something that could potentially be a problem without us really knowing about it. I mean, I'm already having some problems with the potential address, right? So, um, I forget exactly how many numbers are in the credit card or in a card. Um, isn't it like 10 or something like that? Hold on one second. Let me. Do I have an old card here? Not really. Don't think I have a old one. Just kind of lying about. Okay, well, I'm not gonna bother um, trying to find one. Let's see. Credit card number. Generator. Oh, yeah. Um, okay. Um, so I'm seeing here, according to this website, that there are 16 numbers. Okay. Should really remember that, but okay. So uh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. So there's our, 16 number credit card, right? So we'll go ahead and submit that. Okay. Um, Now that was our create stage, so it should be, here in the validation right now, right? So, we're just saying, hey, get approval. So we're gonna just hit go. Now we're in the approval stage. We just need to put in some notes. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some random notes in there just to fill it out, just to make sure everything's handled properly. I'm gonna go ahead and click approve to move on. If I hit reject, then I might have some issues, obviously. So we're not going to do that, obviously. Okay. So once again, we're here in the service. Okay. Now, obviously, the window is a little small right at this moment in time. So, but what I can do is I can come on over here and I can select a provider. So let me go ahead and click on this. No other, nothing else going on here. So I'm going to click the select provider. And once again, we have the create child case. The class of the child work object is not specified. I'm getting the exact same error as before. Okay. I don't know what else to do at this point. Okay. Um, because, I followed the steps exactly. I put in a proper address. I put in a proper city, and the fact that, you have Boston and Massachusetts there. So I'm getting a listing of service providers here. Okay, I put in an accurate address. I filled in everything that I should fill in. Okay, an accurate make and model. Um, the a year, a color. I selected the customer username. Um, so I don't know what else to really say about this. Okay. Now, um, if my friend is watching, or if my contact that I've been kind of speaking with at Pega, um, is currently watching me right at this moment in time, then I would really love to see what they have to say about this right at this point, because I don't know what else to really do at this point. Okay, I'm resetting the entire data. Okay, so there should not be any residue at all. Okay, the instance should be clean, so there should not be any, you know, um, there should not be any database, you know, or data corruption happening right at this moment in time. But I'm almost wondering if there might be. Okay, it has that problem, unfortunately, where it stores information in the data that could potentially be messing up, these future instances. I don't know. Okay, I've seen it happen before where, um, if I try to create a case type um, and try to remove it, and I try to use the exact same name of the case type, then it has issues with it. So it has a hard time trying to get rid of past data. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Um, that's not exactly new, or that's not exactly something that you know should really surprise anyone. Okay, um, so could that be a potential problem? I don't know. Okay, um, I'm just speculating right at this moment in time. I am unsure about what could potentially be the problem. So let me go ahead and let my friend know that I just got the error again. Just got the error. I use an official street address of the Boston, Massachusetts City Hall. So I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. So, um, so yeah, maybe maybe it has something to do with like distance or something like that. Like, I selected the Cambridge, Massachusetts location, right? Maybe it's having a hard time with like just general distance or something. Okay, let me go ahead and select the Boston, Massachusetts one and see if that might have a um, change at all. And no, I'm still getting the exact same error again. So, um, so I'm not sure. I don't know what I can do to get this to work out properly. Um, I clicked save and it went away. Select provider, same error. Now let me click save again. Error went away. And let me just hit submit. Let me see if that changes. Nope, that doesn't change the issue either. Yeah, just to see if, like, maybe, because I selected the provider, maybe it's still, like, in there, but, maybe it's having some, connection issues or something like that. So I thought maybe, hit submit, it won't have an issue. But no, that's not the case. So let me just go one by one through this list here and see if at some point in time this create child case goes away. So, nope, nope, no, 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 and no. Okay. Um, yeah. All right. Let's see about, just um okay, here let's try this. Let's refresh. Assign a service provider. So let's click Boston. Yep, nope, okay. What else can I do? Um, Maybe select service provider. Nope, that's not working at all. Um, nothing there for edit details, so not much I can really do about that. Still having an issue there. Um, okay, let me see about, maybe changing the stage. Let me just maybe go to the next stage and see if it somehow works. Um, I'll advance the case. Okay, so that went through, you know, I was able to change the stage to the resolution. I hit no to advance the case, which was step 5, and then in the to-do section of the case, right over the service, select services assignment, click go. Um, let's see. Okay, wait a second, hold on. In the to do section of the case to the right of select services, click go. But there's nothing here for select services. Hmm. Um, yeah, I think this is probably where maybe um, where kind of like the failure is right at this point. Because it doesn't seem like it's maybe no, maybe because it's not actually creating the child in this particular case. That might be the issue at hand right at this moment in time. So because I did um, the change stage from service to resolution because nothing was working on the service, then it couldn't create that child case. So um, yeah, okay. I wanted to see if there was something else that I might be able to do um, to handle this. Um, now the the task, um, you know, the assistance request there, didn't really work. So, um, so there's like, nothing, the case of A1 isn't showing up anywhere. So, um, we're just gonna go ahead and delete this A2. Now, what I want to do is I want to just go ahead and do the exit preview. I've heard, that maybe you go back into assistance request and click save, or click save and run here within the assistance request to see if, that might, um, change, to maybe create that, overall connection. So let me try that to see if that might work. So once again, we're going to go ahead and do the flat tire, continue. We're going to do the J Mitchell and continue from there. Um, once again, we're going to do the whole Boston, Massachusetts, and then it was what, one city hall square, right? That was the street for the city hall, if I'm not mistaken. Again, okay, we're gonna do the Nissan Altima. Okay, and we're gonna create a credit card number. We're gonna make sure that we have, the exact amount here. There you go. Expiration date. Something in the future. So we don't get hung up by that either. We click submit. We are now in the validation stage. That's obviously not the problem, so we're just gonna click on go. We're in the notes, so I'm just gonna put in some just a regular, text message there. I'm going to click on approve. Now we come to the service provider. Now, because I'm selecting Boston, Massachusetts, I will, before I selected this one first. Obviously, that didn't work. So let's try, just going for the first one here. Same city, right? So service select provider. Bam. Create child case. The class of the child work object is not specified. I don't know. Um, so let's go back to our assistance request here, right? Because maybe I don't know. It's supposed to be, creating the service case. We have it selected here under service. Um, um, I'm not quite sure what else I can maybe do in this particular step to make it work. Um, let's see. Let me just kind of look to see if there's something that might be throwing this off somehow. Let me look at the data objects. Hmm. So here's something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend personally, because I've seen this kind of happen before, in that if you use the same like variable name as a class name, then it might you might have some troubles with um, you might have some disagreements in the compiler at times, depending on, what language you use. So typically what you want to do is you want to try to avoid that kind of situation and try to have, slightly different, you know, um, slightly different names for everything that you kind of use. So, we have the, service case type. We have the data object of services offered. So this text line right here of service, obviously that's not referencing the case type. That's actually offering a, particular text field. So what I would recommend personally, just to make sure that everything's, you don't have that potential conflict, based off my experience from other um, my other languages, I would say something along those like, you know, service offered or something like that. Well, not well, maybe not service offered because that has, you know, I mean, you could get, you know, away with like service offered because it's not services offered, but maybe you can do um, uh, services company offers or something along those lines. Service offers or whatever, just kind of chain, make sure that this is slightly different than say the case type. That's probably what I would suggest anyway. Um, okay. This is just taking in um, just random information. You have services, service, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Um, hmm, maybe transfer information to new case. But that might not necessarily be exactly perfect either. But maybe that might be what they need, though. Here, hold on. Let's unmark that one. Um, because yes, we want to discard the unsaved changes because we don't necessarily want to save anything right at this moment in time. We look at our view on the select service. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here that has any like direct correlation with what we saw there for a second. So I don't know. Not quite sure what to really say about this, to be honest. I'm already kind of going over my what I would normally do for this particular um, session. So let me see if there's like maybe something from email or anything along those lines. Nope, doesn't look like it right at this moment in time. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I can really do in this particular case right at this moment because, um, you know, it doesn't feel like the connection between um, between these two case life cycles are being saved. They're not having that. Um, okay. Let's put it this way: the assistance request case type feels like it's not actually creating the service case at all. Okay, hence the reason why it keeps on failing at that particular stage. It's not, um, maybe it's not necessarily finding the information that it needs within the service case to handle that next step. I'm just speculating here. I don't know. Okay, but every single time that I've run this, and I'll run it again right now just to kind of prove or to try to show that I'm still having some issues here. As you can see, you're still seeing a little box in the background there. You know what? Let me change out. Instead of a flat tire, let me change to a dead battery. Okay, because I typically pick the flat tire, right? Let's go with dead battery this time. Let's go with H. Thomas this time around, and we'll continue. Once again, we will go with the One City Hall Square as the address at Boston, Massachusetts for the City Hall there in Boston. I know of Nissan Altima, so just continuing with that. Red and then model year of last year, just for the hell of it. Okay. I'll go with MasterCard this time around, right? And of course, we'll just pick the same number as last time, just because it's easier to, well, not the exact number. I messed up there, didn't feel like correcting it. Um, there we go. Okay, so we're in the validation. We've had no problems with it in the past, so we'll try again here. Um, Sorry, I wanted to check to make sure if anybody's like, if there was any chatters or anything along those lines. We'll go. Notes. Let me change, trying again to see if different choices comes up with a different result. I am insane. Because that's insanity right there. You try to do something over and over and over again, trying to expect different results, but it gets the same one, right? So, okay, so here we are once again at the select service provider. Okay, um, you know, first time around I selected Cambridge. Second time around I selected Boston. I don't know what else to really do on this particular instance, so we're just going to go ahead and select Boston, select provider, and it finally went through. Okay, no to advance the case. Oh, finally. God damn. Okay, so somehow those choices somehow fixed the issue. Um, I shouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, you know, this should be happening first time around, no problems. Okay, based off of your steps. Um, so I finally got it to work this time around, but you know, um, the amount of steps that I did to see if I can get it to work somehow, there's something going on there. There's some kind of linking problem going on with this particular challenge that is causing problems for anybody that tries it. So Um, so, if you're watching this, Pega, please, follow these steps and try to figure out where the problem lies because there's something going on here, under everything going on here, okay, that is causing that connection to fail somehow. I don't, I don't know. I'm not, you know, I'm coming into this, fairly new, fairly fresh. I'm not, I don't know everything that, you could possibly do, work with Pega, and eventually, I may get there, okay? I may get to that level where I can look at this and go, oh yeah, you know, you're dealing with, this issue, that other issue, okay? Maybe it had something to do with the data object. Maybe because the data object wasn't loaded in properly or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I do not know. I wish, I kind of wish that I did know, but I don't. Okay. And, um, right now, um, the challenge isn't offering any kind of solutions on that at this time. Once again, I'll let um, the folks over there know that hey, I finally got it to this point. So step six, or we already did the in the review service summary. Click no advance the case to resolve the assistance request case. In the to do section of the case, to the right of the select services assignment, click go. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so here's the select services. To the right of the select case ID, click the down arrow to see the relationship between the parent case and the child case. So, service case ID, click the down arrow to see the relationship between the assistance request, the A4, and the service request. So, confirm that the previous noted assistance request case ID is displayed, which it did. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and verify the challenge because I'm getting that. I'm getting an. Well, here let me see if I can quickly get the. Oh nope, it went away already. Okay, so challenge is now complete right now. Okay, because of that. Okay, but here's the problem. There's something going on here. Okay, there's a problem that needs to be resolved. It really needs to have a deep dive to try to figure this part out because I'm not the only one that's had this problem with this particular challenge. I looked on the forum. I've seen others having the exact same issues, exact same problem with this particular challenge as well. Okay, this is not an isolated incident. Okay, so there's something going on here that's causing the problem. Okay, and you know, saying, hey, um, just refresh the page or go back and save it again or something like that. Okay, here's the problem with that. Okay, if you tell that to one of your frontline workers, they're gonna kind of get pissed off at you because they're like, I just wasted all this time trying to put in this information. Maybe the customer needs urgent assistance right at this particular moment in time. Like, um, like maybe, hey, they need a tow vehicle like right now. Okay, maybe they need, maybe they need emergency assistance, like the police or the fire department or something like that. And you're telling the person that might be handling that crisis situation to refresh. Don't do that. You know, figure out what the problem is because you know, um, you know, if if you're writing an application that's definitely, serious, like you're in, maybe you're writing an application for the hospital, maybe you're writing an application for the police or the fire department. Who knows, okay, what you might be doing. Don't go, oh, just do a refresh. It'll work itself out. No, no. Okay. Your job as a programmer is to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. Okay. If there's something that the user is entering that is breaking the system, then figure out a way to handle, the bad user input. Okay. So I passed this challenge, but it's, you know, this was my, what, sixth, seventh attempt or so at trying to do this easy when it should have been the first attempt. So, um, so yeah, there's a problem with this, okay, and it needs to be resolved. It shouldn't be swept under the rug, okay. Whoever's designing these instances really needs to take a look at what's going on underneath, you know, um, look at look at the connection between, the what's you know the assistance request and the call to service to, you know, initiate, the connection of creating the service. Okay, because right now, obviously, it's been failing. Okay, so but that's it. That's where we're gonna go ahead and end it at this point. Was not able to get to the second challenge. So we'll just go ahead and maybe save that for tomorrow. Um, I'll see what I can do about maybe sending this recording to Pega, and hopefully they can try to follow my steps exactly and figure out where the issue lies. I really hope so because, like I mentioned, there's others that are having the same exact issue, and they need to figure out what the root cause of it is and make sure that it doesn't happen again. So, um, or at the very least, put the put the fix within the challenge itself, so that the developer can see firsthand how to go about fixing it. Okay. Even if you have like a little note saying, hey, if you encounter this particular area, then these are the steps that you need to take in order to resolve it. That's perfectly fine. You know, go ahead and do that because, um, uh, especially if it's something detailed, doing the whole save, that doesn't fix the issue. Okay. Um, Explain why there's a problem there and see, give them the steps necessary to go to like the data object to fix something there. Maybe it has something to do um, with the connection with the initial collaboration in the first place. Figure out, what is the, okay. So think of it this way. Okay, in C++ you have, or in C and C++ you have pointers, pointing to data locations and so on and so forth, correct? Memory addresses. Okay, right now, okay, based off of my experience in this, okay, you have your assistance request trying to point to the memory location for service, but it's not finding it there. Okay, it's as though the memory location isn't being loaded in with the service object. Okay, it's like pointing to the wrong address. Okay, you're creating the service in another memory address, but it's not pointing to the correct one. Okay, so in this particular case, you would, if you're like using C or C++, you'd be like, okay, I need to point I need to make sure that the address of the pointer is pointing to the correct memory location. Okay. Um, which I'm I'm kind of thinking that that's the problem here. Okay. We're creating all these, well, okay. Um, we're not creating different service objects because as you can see there, the, as you can see, we just created only one of them, you know, service one. Okay. So it's not a matter of like, um, you know, like the previous assistance request is creating, different services, like, this should have been like S4 if each one of these assistance requests was creating the proper service. Okay. It's not doing that. Okay. So there's something going on between the assistance request creating the the case type of service. Okay. So there's something wrong with that kind of connection going on. Okay. And it needs to be looked at. It needs to be addressed because you got a problem here. So um, I personally don't, but I'm not sure. I don't have like you know, I don't know everything about pay right at this moment in time, so I don't know where that might be, where the problem might lie. Okay, so that's that's all I can say. So um, if I do get some additional clarity from my friend of mine or from Pega itself, we'll find out. But for now, I'm going to end this video and we're going to move on with the rest of the day here. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I gave someone some additional insight on what might be the root cause, or maybe I helped you on trying to get past this challenge yourself. I don't know. But um, I'm gonna stop it there. So thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff would be great. Hopefully I'll see you again. Thanks for lurking if you've been lurking. But that's it. So stop recording. Okay, and for anybody that is still there, still watching me stream, normally I take about, normally I go from like 3 o'clock to, um, I go from like 3 to 4 doing, YouTube uploads and the like, but I've already gone like, 30 minutes into that, so it's going to be a little bit of a rush job, or might not have, um, I won't have nearly as much time on uploading videos. So give me a second. I need to get something to drink here. Be right back. There we go. Okay, so um, okay, let me go to my email. Um, let's see. After about 7 different attempts to get through the challenge, I was finally able to get the challenge complete, but I really was not changing much in terms of the input provided. When I looked at the service case that was created, I saw that it was showing S1 or my A4 assistance request case. So I suspect that assistance request is having issues in creating a service case somehow. Otherwise, it probably would have been showing S4 or my A4. I have an hour and a half video that you are welcome to have if you would like, so that you can review the steps that I took and maybe review what I did differently between A3 and A4 to try to find the root cause. Of why the service case was not being properly generated. I'll see if my friend can also look at the video and maybe come up with a maybe troubleshoot the issue as well. Hopefully we can figure out a proper solution, because I'm not the only software dev that is experiencing the issue, as seen from Pega forums. Let's see. I'm going to kind of underline this part here. So that it kind of stands out. I don't want them kind of overlooking that particular point. Like, hey, I'm willing to give you this video that I did just now, the hopes that, your developer, your official Pega developers can go through them and figure out, what the problem is, where the problem is. So, um, now the problem is that the size of the video is pretty large, so I don't know if I can actually attach it to, I don't know if I can actually attach it here. Let me see. Um, yeah, it's too large for email. So, um, but what I could probably do is I could probably try to maybe upload it to my Dropbox and just kind of share that link with them right then and there, so that they can just pull it straight from my Dropbox. I can put it into, into the public Dropbox and just share that link with them directly. Okay, so yep, there's that. Go ahead and log on out here. Close that down. We can close down. I'm happy that fact that, I can finally say that, hey, I completed this challenge, so, um, so that's no longer an issue. And I can probably show that again tomorrow. I'm not really gonna be worrying about that, but, um, but yeah. So, um, let's able to finally get the challenge complete. That was after 4 different attempts. After an hour and a half. Really like to know what the root cause of the issue is. So if I encounter it again within the at an official job, I can track down how to fix it. Um, Let not sure if I can add a video directly to this chat, but I can try if you want the video early. Otherwise, I'll have it on my YouTube channel soon enough. Alright. So, okay, first off, let's go ahead and get Steam up and running so that we have the potential for Final Fantasy VII later. Wrong account, change the account. There we go. Oh boy. Okay. It wasn't even bringing up the it didn't even bring up the launcher. Okay, let's make sure that we have the verify the integrity of the files because I was trying to mess with it last time to see if I can get it to kind of work, but didn't do much yesterday about it. Just noticed that the source page failed as soon as the activity to create the child case was having an error. Again, I can retry the exercise today and find the right place. Might need to want to see if I can find that exercise as well. Maybe tonight. Okay, so 156 files failed to validate and will be required. Okay. So, okay. Okay, there's that. And let me see if I can get the Final Fantasy VII. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh boy, I'm still having the same issue that I was having before concerning Final Fantasy 7. Um, okay, hold on. Um, Alright. Um, at this moment in time, um, I'm having some issues trying to load the game right at this point. I'm wondering if there's anybody else having some problems with the with running the game, but it doesn't seem that way. Hmm, okay, I can't seem to. Not really seeing anything in terms of issues here. Okay, apparently I'm not going to be doing much in terms of um, uploading videos right at this moment in time because I wanted to check to see whether or not if I could actually get um, Final Fantasy 7 working, but it's it's not really letting me at this time. So um, here, let me go ahead and change my video here a little bit. Um, let's see. We'll just go ahead and put it on the gaming. Um, um, FF7 original not loading properly. So troubleshooting. All right. Today just feels like it's just going to be one of those scuffed days for the most part. Okay. Let's go to the local files right at this moment in time. Okay. Right, I had this set up for the compatibility mode. Let me remove that and apply. Okay, I just had an error code 740. Create process returned an error. Okay, let me see what that is referring to here. So, create process return an error. Error code 740. Um, hmm. Okay. So it's saying that this might be an issue with just the administrator. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, so it looks like I was able to kind of get it to kind of run properly for the most part. I can see the title screen. I was able to get it to the new game, but it's not showing the continue. Meaning I'm looking at it and going, what happened to my save? So, I mean, I've already done a fair bit already. I mean, I've already gone into the gold saucer. I've already gone past the gold saucer by that point. Okay. I'm already like well into disc 2 if you're looking at, if you're thinking along those lines. Okay. Um so that's, hours of content already there. I would have to do a lot to try to get back to that point. Um but it doesn't seem to be wanting to it's having a hard time trying to get to it didn't find any save files at all. Now, that might have been due to the um, verifying integrity of the files. Maybe it just cleared out the save files. I hope not. But I don't know. Um, it might have done that. That would suck if that's the case because then I would have to basically redo everything that I was kind of that I did prior. So, um, I don't think there's any way for me to kind of skip the cinematic to go into the menu so that I can just kind of exit out of the game right at this moment in time. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of let this kind of proceed forward and see what's going on, or see if everything kind of works properly-ish. Again, then I'll check to see if I can try to find the save files, or see if the save folder actually has my files still in there. And if it does, then I'm gonna need to figure out, what the heck happened to them, why the game isn't finding them anymore. But okay, so I was able to play through it, and I had it sounded like I had the sound effects as well, so it seemed as though everything was kind of, well, actually, hold on. I don't know if all the sound effects was kind of working properly, because I didn't go into a battle. I had that issue where, I played the game. It went into um, um, it went um, into the battle, but the sound effects wasn't there. You know, I might have heard the music and stuff like that, but I wasn't really hearing like the the battle sound effects. So let me go ahead and exit out of the launcher here, have it stop running. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that my launcher, because I launched the game, from the local files right at this moment in time. So that's not exactly ideal. Obviously, I don't necessarily want to have I don't want to have to do that all every single time, right? So um, what I want to do is mark the launcher properties with run this program as an administrator. There we go. So that when I do run it here on Steam, it should work properly. But hold on a second. Let me verify if let me see if there's anything that I need to kind of maybe do on the Steam side of things to change that around. And nope, it doesn't look like um, there's anything that I can do, within um, within the properties. So, um, so let me try to play system administrator. Okay, um, get the logo here. Play. Get all the information and so on and so forth. Okay. It's not it's not seeing uh, it's not seeing any save files here. So okay, stopping the game. I don't want it trying to run a new. This program work correctly? Sure. Okay, let's go back to um, my folder here, and let me see if I can find the save folder at all. Most likely under the data. Hmm. Ooh, I don't see anything in the data folder that might have save files. But let me check. Let me double check, make sure. Maybe there's something here that I'm just not seeing right away. It might have like the um, it might have um, the save files in an unknown folder that I'm not used to, that kind of thing. So a lot of AIVs or AVIs. I wonder if I can actually play the music from the folders, and if that might, screw up, play the movies, play the music from the folders itself. That would be interesting. I mean, I once, you know, I don't see why not, but um, okay, I don't see anything there. Don't see anything there. Anything there. Don't see anything there. Okay. Um, I think the either, you know, maybe like the past update or something along those lines. Um, or maybe when I did the data integrity, it might have deleted my saves. Um, let me see. Um, okay, so I'm checking out the recycle bin on Windows to see if like maybe because it did the integrity, it might have deleted the files directly, or put them in the recycle bin, but I don't see any files um, from Final Fantasy VII. It's just showing me files um, that I deleted. So now it could be that it's um, a second. Recycle bin location and different. That's right. Cancel out of that. I was trying to see if maybe like it was maybe showing hidden items, but I mean, I have that checked off, so I should be able to see any like random files that, might have been deleted by, like a different program, but, I'm not seeing anything there either. So, I don't know. Oh damn. Um, that's kind of unfortunate. Basically had, according to this, 24.4 hours already played, right? Well, with no save files, all those hours are gone. Nothing more left there. So yeah, that's a bit problematic. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like the idea of, um, you know, I enjoy Fantasy VII, so it's not like I'm going, darn, I get to, I have to play this all over again. But at the same time, um, it's a little bit problematic in that I'm having to, in a sense, re-record a brand new playthrough, um, and show the fact that, um, my files are gone. So all that content that is currently up on my YouTube channel, no longer there. Or no, I mean, it's still there, but it's like, um, it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to really approach this. How, um, I might have to like maybe rename the old playlist, saying something along the lines of, corrupted file, lost save data, or something along those lines on it. So people can just maybe ignore that particular playthrough and try again, start from the very beginning. Um, so no, it looks like they they figured out the issue or something like that, and I'm able to kind of run it properly again. Or at least I was able to see I was able to get through to the menu selection, but my save files are gone. They're black-haired. Um, so as I said, 24 hours of gameplay is gone. Not quite sure where it went to. So Does Steam not have cloud saves for FF7? To be honest, I don't know. I don't know if that is something that they do with it at all. Um, let's see. I'm not really seeing anything in sort of in terms of cloud saves on their store page for it, so yeah. Um, but even then, it's like um, I wouldn't really know where to really look to see about trying to get the save files back, even if it was like stored on the cloud. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is a really old game, you know, for anybody that, doesn't know. Back when, this game first came out, it was on the PS1, and, um, back then, there was no online, you know, well, I mean, there was online back then. You could, dial up uh, to websites back in '97, but PlayStation One um, was never really built for that in mind. Um, the PlayStation One, you had to have these little memory cards that you inserted into the PlayStation One so that you could say, you can have the CDs, or if you had to save anything, it would save directly on those little cards. Um, and you had like a limited amount of slots depending on like the size of the save on those cards and so on and so forth. So um, you would think that they would have, they might have like tried to modify this to allow for like cloud saves. But obviously that would take a lot of effort on their part to try to get that to work properly. Um, so um, let's see. Let me see if I can um, look up online. FF7 Steam save files. Missing. Okay. Um, 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 Uh, okay. Someone was suggesting something about going to the Final Fantasy VII Steam folder and trying to restore previous versions on that folder. Hmm. Let me see if that. Um, Let me see if that might fix the issue. Let me see if one that if it's possible, and two if it will indeed try restore the save files. So um, okay, so documents, Square Enix, Final Fantasy 7 Steam. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Um. Okay, looks like there is no restore previous versions available for the folder. Oh, it was an interesting suggestion, but there's no like restore points or anything along those lines to restore to, so um yeah, there's not much I can really do about that. Um Let me see if there's something else that might um okay. Yeah, it looks like I am not seeing anything in terms of um okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything here that is going to be that helpful, or at least um, um Yeah, it doesn't look like there's really anything for me to um, it just looks like my files are gone. I don't really see, I'm not really seeing anything that might allow for me to get them back at all. Okay, so it's looking like, they're giving me I have a specific like user, but it isn't, that user doesn't have any saved data contained within it right at this time. Um, Now, did they remove said user before or something like that? Did they like, reset it or something? I don't know. Not sure. Um, but this might be the location on where I need, where the save files might actually be. Um, Now I can probably check on this and see if that is indeed, the location on where the save files are located at. And if that's the case, then I may need to consider, saving the files after I do every single stream in a separate location so that if they ever do decide, oh, hey, we're going to delete your data again, that, I'll be able to try to restore the information somehow. Um, and hopefully not screw up the game in trying to do said restore. Um, but I'm not seeing any saves at this point, and well, it's just so here's what I'll say about it. Okay. There's a slight amount of frustration in the fact that the time that I spent on doing Final Fantasy 7 for those 24 hours is now just gone. I don't see the files anymore. Um, there doesn't seem to be any kind of save files anymore anywhere. So it's just a little frustrating the fact that um, they're just not available. You know, so um, so that's all. That's um, on one hand it's like oh darn, I get to play it again, but at the same time it's like I would like to kind of continue where I left off so that the viewer, will be like, oh yeah, um, we've already seen this part. Why are you playing it again? That kind of thing. So, um, have you tried backup and restore on the Steam launcher? I don't know if that's actually an option. I mean, there's the backup game files and the properties, but but there isn't a restore that you are referring to there, Blackheart. So here, let me hop in the in Discord. So if you want to join me in there, you're welcome to. There we go. Oh, backup or destroy games. Well, there's a lot of currently installed programs, so I don't necessarily want to uh, back them all up like right now. And I never really did any kind of previous backup at all either. So trying to restore a previous backup. Um, yeah. So program backups found none. So most likely, even if I was to try to restore, there wasn't a previous backup to be found. So most likely not possible. So I'm inviting you to speak if you want. Hello, how are you? Yeah, currently I look at, I go to Steam, I go to the backup and restore games. Thank you for pointing that out. So obviously I can do backup currently installed programs, but obviously that does me no good right at this moment in time because I'm trying to find old saves that, was already or should have been there, but obviously aren't right at this moment in time. So the second option here is restore a previous backup, right? So I'm like, let me select that. So I hit next and it goes, okay. Locate the directory containing the backup files from which you wish to restore. If you saved your backups to Steam default location, this will be the folder inside the directory called backups. So, I personally haven't used this before, but, so it has that path for backups. I could browse to see if I like maybe put it under like a different backup folder location, but I've never done this before, never did that before, never had a need to do that before, um, so you know, doing browse wouldn't really do anything. But however, what's right below that is it says program backups found none. So there isn't anything there. So yeah. So now I can try to do, backup currently installed programs. Um, and maybe, I can do it's in alphabetical order, so I could probably just do, select the, Final Fantasy 7 um and create a backup on that right now. But I mean, there's no save file, so there's really no point in me doing any kind of backup for it at this point in time. So, I've 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 heard some people having some issues with it in that it, you know, um, saying that, cloud settings doesn't work properly or it just does not want to save. So now I'm looking through their Square Enix launcher right now. Um, okay, so there is the it's maybe. Yeah. Okay, so under the Square Enix launcher, under network, there is a use cloud saving, but that was not checked off. So yeah. Um, Now I don't know how reliable it is though. Okay. Everything that I've heard, when I look at other people's communication about it, they typically talked about how, uncheck it because it typically causes problems. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, right. I personally haven't used the cloud saving for Square Enix because obviously this is, I mean, to be honest, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII since the very first times that I was playing it, like back in the PS1 days. So, I never played it here on Steam before, hence the reason why I've been wanting to play it on Steam. um, because it's that nostalgia factor in there. Um, so I don't know how good the cloud saving is, but you know, uh, when I played it last time, which was 2 months ago, um, I had that error where it just would not run whatsoever. Got an update and suddenly everything just stopped working. Um, so yeah, I mean, mine was very weird because I was like, okay, maybe it's once again like the compatibility. Maybe it was a compatibility issue because you know the one that I was using it was just saying unknown error and it wouldn't give me any additional information on that, right? So you know I changed the compatibility and I was able to get to the title screen. I'm like going, okay, great. I would, you know, do the continue, load up the save, and, I was able to, in a sense, play the game. But the problem with that run through was the fact that the sound effects were disabled. Wasn't getting any kind of sound effects whatsoever. So you go into a battle scene, sure the music might be playing, but there's no additional sounds. So So it's a very, it was very, very odd to try to, continue with that. I didn't really want to run that kind of gameplay, or, I didn't really want to record that, you know. So, oh, I had multiple. You always do multiple when you do, um, yeah. Normally I do about two. Unless of course there was, unless I kind of wanted to saved at a very specific point. Um, like I believe, in the previous save session and the previous version, um, you know, the parade, right? Um, if anybody knows, you know. If you don't, well, good luck when you get there. Um, I wasn't able to, with the keyboard commands, I wasn't able to get it to work to the point where I was able to get the max available. I got the second best, but I mean, you know, if you march properly, then you have that potential of getting that, the best one, the best tier. Um, but I couldn't hit it, which was a little frustrating for me. And so I saved the game, like, I saved, made sure that I saved that particular spot, another spot so that, maybe I would go back to it in the future um, and try to see if I can get that, highest tier, show that, hey, it is possible. Difficult, but still possible. So, but yeah, even that one's gone. So no files whatsoever. It's like, oh geez. Yeah. I don't know. I contacted um Square Enix about the issue because I was like, hey guys, just trying to run Steam and um the game isn't running. I tried like multiple different Windows compatibilities and it's not running. What did you guys do it? I saw that you guys did an update on it, and now, the game isn't running like it did before. So, um, so it seems like they fixed the issue, I guess. But I guess because they had to do an update, maybe. Again, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to when it was gonna, when it received an update. Um, you know, um, that it would, you know, I didn't, I wasn't looking at it, so if it did occur, then they might have like wiped everything to restore it, or um, maybe when I was trying to run the game in the first place, um, there's the options of verifying the integrity of the game files. So when I clicked on that, maybe that deleted all my save files. Really shouldn't have, but you would think. But I don't know. Maybe Square Enix saw that like the previous version had something that was corrupting everything, so they were like, okay, you're gonna have to remove the save files because if you try to load up the old save files, you're just gonna corrupt your game again or something like that. I don't know. I'm just that there's no way for me to know, you know, what's done is done. So yeah. I um um I can also try to see about seeing if I can get Dragon Age Origins working too. See if there's something that I can find there to try to figure out what I can do to try to fix that one. Yeah, there is the launch options there. Yeah. Let's see what you're talking about. Um, Here, hold on. Let me first um, go to the local files for that game and make sure that yeah, well, I'm deleting that um, the shortcut that I had made, yesterday. So there isn't any like confusion or anything along those lines. So okay. Um, and it was now. Would I just enter in the DX9, you think? The dash DX9 under in that launch options window, or do you, I wouldn't need to put in the full-on address in there. I just need to put in the dash DX9, and that's all it would need, right? Now, now would I need to put this under the Play Dragon Origins Ultimate Edition, or do I put it under the Ask When Starting Game drop down? Well, no, 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 that's what I mean. Okay, under the launch options, okay, they're giving me there's a drop-down box saying ask when starting game, play Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, or view support information under the drop-down box. Is there anything that I need to change there? No worries. Mm-hmm. Right. So you didn't change the launch options? Right. No, I'm there. So that's normally a good spot to kind of go to if you want to handle this kind of thing. So under general, right? Did you change? You didn't change anything else. Okay. Okay. Well, then let me go ahead and activate that, or let me go ahead and modify that. Yeah, I mean um that's a common occurrence in the fact of, the graphics can can sometimes make or break a game session. So, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Right. Okay, so just tried one try through on that and the game crashed, but then, that was the one file that was always kind of crashing anyway. So let me try like the previous one that typically worked. I wasn't in the market, so let me see if I go back there. Okay. For anybody that's kind of watching me right at this moment in time, obviously I'm not really showing the gameplay right now because I mean, I messed with this. Yeah, I messed with this, yesterday, and obviously it wasn't really working. So it was just kind of troubleshooting. No need for me to kind of show the screen because if it keeps on failing on me, then why show that it keeps on failing? Hmm. Okay, I was able to enter the one store that I kept on failing at, so that's good. So that's a good sign. So I might need to just kind of delete the old save file because that might have been just kind of corrupted. So, yep, maybe. I went, I'm going back through the, previous steps that I've had before to see if there's anything, um, I'm double checking everything right now just to see, you know, if it might like crash again, somewhere. Okay, looks like it is running okay. Now, I don't know if that is going to be like a permanent solution or not. Hopefully it is, but, don't really know. Um, yeah, definitely fingers crossed. I mean, I got up to this point without needing it, but the Dragon Age market they just kept on failing on me. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, yeah, yeah, okay. So it's kind of unfortunate that FF7 is down for the count. Um, the problem with that though is that there's going to be slight differences um, between those two playthroughs because you might get like more items, in one playthrough, or you might get less items. The HP and levels might be different, so it might be just better for me to just kind of start afresh. Um, yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm gonna have to do it anyway, so um, might as well stream it, right? Um, or something. I don't know. Um, but I might, yeah. And even then, don't really know if you're even going to be given the opportunity to do even your own, if you enable the cloud saves, will you be able to get your own like local saves so that you can, try to back it up, yourself, you know. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but I don't know. Kind of. Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah. But then again, it might still kind of corrupt anyway at some point in time in the future. But there's always risk. I mean, let's face it. The even saving, way back in the day, when Final Fantasy VII was still, was around for the first time. You had those cards that you had to save to. Even those, even those might have gotten corrupted and failed on you too. So. Um, yeah. Well, no, no, no. Those cards never had a battery. Yeah. They 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 were more solid state drives than anything else. Um, yeah. Yeah. I always appreciated the fact that you could play uh, PlayStation 1 games on PlayStation 2. Um, yeah. Um, I also appreciated the fact that they tried to do it for PlayStation 3, but obviously that was very expensive. Then everybody was kind of complaining about it, so they just kind of removed it. But yeah, yeah. Well, let's face it. There's a lot of people out there that might not have ever played these games, or they might want to try to play them for the very first time, or you know um, they've never really experienced these games ever, kind of thing. So I mean, like you might go to like a third world country and say, hey, we have this gaming system, available to you, and here's all the old games, and there's a market there, you know. Um, and so, there shouldn't be any problems with, trying to do that. Um, but um, but obviously, that's it's not um it might not be a huge market too because, maybe it's um the economy isn't great there or something like that. You never know. You never know. True. Well, I mean, some of the older games are ones that were super popular and therefore, hard to get, or you might not see any kind of copies. So, for the most part, you might be stuck with like some of the worst games ever. You know. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, um, but let's face it, sometimes um, if it's like the very first game that you've ever played before, it might be like, you might be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever, or something along those lines, right? Um, you know, like I remember my very first game, and I was like, when I first played it, I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever, But then again, I was like a small child at the time, so um, and if you compare that game with um, any of the newer games nowadays, you're gonna be like going, yeah. Mm, in some ways, yes. In other ways, not so much. So, um, well, again, it might depend on the game, though. Okay, uh, like it might have been fun when you first played it, but when you go back to it later, and it's like maybe the controls are bad, maybe the response times are bad or something like that. But back then you didn't really care. You were like, "Oh, this is the greatest game ever." You might have been kind of experiencing, the response times and whatnot back then, but you were like, this is normal. So nowadays when you have everything like you know 60 FPS, kind of thing. Everything's, super detailed. Response times has to be like, super quick, right? And then you go back to the old game and you're like, okay, fire the gun. Okay, why isn't it firing? Kind of thing. Or, like 1 second later it fires off. It's like, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, there's, um, um, you have to, you know, sure there's a certain level of like, you know, this game was great, I loved it, but there's also a nostalgia factor that goes into that as well. Like if you try to go back to an old game that you played, a long time ago, and you try to play the game again today, you might have a lot of problems with it because it doesn't have like the same kind of standards. So, yeah. So, like for example, I think I've tried to play um, Star Wars X-Wing Special Edition, right? That's a very, very old game, but I loved it because um, you were able to play like, multiple, you were playing as the rebels and you were playing, you could control like the different ships, the X-wing, the Y-wing, the A-wing, and the B-wing, um, to on various different missions, right? Oh, I remember I played that game a lot, you know. Of course, I do remember that, the eventually you could play that game to the point where you can eventually get to the Death Star to try to go, do the trench run on the Death Star in that game. But they really ramped up the difficulty and going up against the Death Star because like you look at the movie and you see like you know, you only had like a certain number of X-wings, certain number of Y-wings, right? In the original movie. Um, and it always felt like the number of TIE fighters was just about as equal, like an equal amount of TIE fighters, right? In the game, in the X-Wing Special Edition, they threw like everything. They like emptied out the entire Death Star against you. So you, right, exactly. Um, so you couldn't even get close to the Death Star to even attempt a trench run. Or at least it felt that way to me when I first played it. But I play it nowadays, and the graphics are so rough. Um, Now, I can't necessarily play it right now because I don't have like a good um, I don't really have a good joystick to play the game. Um, you know, but maybe someday I'll see about trying to get myself a joystick and streaming that at some point. But it does run. I can actually get it to run for the most part. Maybe there might be a glitch sometime in the future on that one. Um, but I definitely know I'm probably gonna get a lot of copyright claims on that one. Yep, yep, yep. That's that's one of the unfortunate things about some of these some of the games. It's like um, the music gets almost instantaneously copyright claimed, and it's like, God damn it, guys. Um, like when I was playing Knights of the Old Republic, I kept on getting, well, not kept on getting. There were times where the standard Star Wars music wasn't playing, so it wasn't being claimed on at those moments. Right. Well, I mean, all the music for Knights of the Old Republic was specifically for that game. Um, because so here's my point. When you first start up the game, it does like the standard like Star Wars fanfare, the da da da, kind of thing, right? Uh, right. That first section is common. It's like every Star Wars movie has that first standard fanfare when the text is scrolling through, right? But the thing is that not George Lucas, um, ha 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 ha. Why am I blanking on his name? The composer. My God, why am I blanking on his name? Oh. This is unfortunate. I called myself a Star Wars fan and I can't remember his name right at this. My brain is going the. Um, John Williams. God damn. Um, when John Williams, um, he specifically had, yes, he had that fanfare at the very beginning, but what he did was that for every movie he changed that up a little bit by adding the beginning little intro scene. He kind of added he had the fanfare that was standard, but he also added that little beginning intro to that as a full musical score. Okay, so when you go to the movies 4, 5, and 6, you'll notice that. you know, the very first musical soundtrack, sure, it might have fanfare, but it also has, you know, like Leia escaping or you know whatever, you know. Here, let me look it up here. Star Wars 4 soundtrack. Um, oh come on. Um, where- yeah, main title Rebel Blockade Runner. Um, you know, let's see. Um, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. Um, oh, this one just keeps on doing um, the um, original Star Wars soundtrack release. It's not showing the let's see. Okay, Star Wars main theme, A New Hope, you know, The Empire Strikes Back main theme, Return of the Jedi main theme, you know, and each one of them is, you know, slightly different in that, you know, not only do you have like the very beginning fanfare, but it also adds in like after the fanfare, you know. Um, you'll notice that, you know, the amount of time for each one of them is slightly different than the previous. Or, you know, the four, you know, four's main theme, five's main theme, six's main theme, they're all different like lengths to them because it's not just the fanfare, it's just, you know, it's fanfare with like a little bit more to it. So, yeah, let me see. I try to kind of prove that here a little bit. Okay, so uh, Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope original soundtrack. Um, um, they're doing the main title and end titles kind of together on that, but you know, main title is 5 minutes 20 seconds on that. When you look at the main theme for Empire Strikes Back, it's 5 minutes and 46 seconds, When you look at the main theme for Return of the Jedi, it is what was it? I had it here. Um, Main title 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's not the same. You know, there's different. You know, it's not the same main theme. You know. Right, well, that's my point though is the fact that they're flagging the sound from the um they're flagging the song from they're flagging the song from Knights of the Old Republic and saying this song is coming from uh Star Wars: A New Hope, but it's not. It's the you know it's the theme, it's the fanfare, plus it's a little bit more specifically for Return of Knights of the Old Republic. It's not the same song, so it's a little frustrating. It, exactly, and that's yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, right. Well, I mean, I tried, putting a counter to it. I was like going, hey guys, this isn't this song is strictly for the game, not from Star Wars: A New Hope, you know. But of course, I failed. They said, yeah, this still applies. Go away. It's like, you know, yeah. Well, I mean, they are just the host, so they well, I mean, you have so okay. The thing is that YouTube is wanting to try to make sure that their hands are pretty much off for the most part. Okay, they don't want to be in the direct line of sight of the companies because if they're saying, "Hey, we're going to protect everybody on our platform from the companies," then then they have like everybody aiming for them, you know. So, um, sure they might go like, "Hey, company A, they're not playing that song. You need to back off." And that company might go, "Oh yeah, YouTube, you sure about that? Let's sue you." And it's like, let's bring lawyers against you, YouTube, because you're trying to protect this this copyright offender, kind of thing. And obviously, YouTube doesn't really want to deal with that for like multiple different claims, for like all the channels that are out there. So they pretty much like say, okay, hands off, you know, content creators. If you're using songs that are in the record, playing songs that are copyrighted, then they have ownership. They're gonna claim it, you know, or you're gonna get a strike on your content, and we're just gonna wash our hands of it. I mean, I get it, you know. Um, right, right, yeah. Well, I mean, they could always, or okay, they can change up their content. They can change from YouTube to, hey, we're now a TV viewing site, much like along the lines of like Hulu or something like that. And goodbye, content creators. So they they could do that. I mean, they're kind of trying to set themselves up for it if they really wanted to. Obviously, hmm? Oh, oh yeah, believe me, that um they're gonna have strict competition against all the other online channel sites that are out there already. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, yeah, and um, and it's not like, yep. Well, I mean, it's the whole they would be basically losing who they are if they try to go down that route, right? YouTube was all about trying to, make a website so, you know, the content creator was, putting out content, for everybody to watch. It's all about you, the view, the content creator, you are, you have direct control of the site, like way back in the day, right? Um, but obviously, they weren't making any major money for it. Okay, they weren't they weren't making any money. They weren't making any kind of ad revenue or anything like that. Obviously this was way back in the day, right? Um, and eventually they were taken over by Google. Um, but um, but to be honest, I don't know if they're they might not they might still be losing money on this website. Um, you know, or at least I haven't heard of them going in the black. To be honest, so I don't know. Um, I don't really have, I don't have access to their financial reports or anything like that, so I don't know. Okay. But I don't know if their ad revenue and, the TV shows and the movies that they do sell on this platform is making enough money to handle the cost, the overall cost of, just trying to maintain this website. So, um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I mean, yeah, 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 they're trying to do whatever they can to try to make even more money, just to try to cover the cost, or at least that's typically what they've mentioned in the past anyway. Um, they just keep on losing money because there's one, a lot of content creators here on the site. There's a lot of people uploading videos constantly on the site. And so, just trying to maintain all of that is uh, astronomical, you know. Not to mention all everybody that works for YouTube as well, because now you're paying and you're still paying for their salaries along with that. So, obviously, if they could, if Google could get away with, running everything on YouTube via bots, then they'd probably do it because obviously that would cut down a lot of pay. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I know. But I mean, let's Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to also remember the fact that they're using bots because there's just too many people uploading content on a regular basis for anybody to really handle. Um, I mean, there's not, there's nothing they can do though. Okay, like I mentioned, they're getting what, like thousands of hours of content, like, what is it, every second or something like that. You know, Um, I don't know what the exact number is. Hold on. YouTube. Um, what is the amount of videos posted? Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah. As of Yeah, but I mean, um, so okay. According to this website, I'm just kind of going, I'm just looking up, a random website right at this moment in time. So I don't know if this is actual fact or not, but I wouldn't be too surprised either by it, right? So just bear in mind, again, don't know if it's factual, but just as a potential, you know, as of June 2022, more than 500 hours of video were uploaded to YouTube every minute. This equates to approximately 30,000 hours of newly uploaded content per hour. So that's not, no single person can handle that much, you know. So that's why you kind of need the bots to quickly go through. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I know that there's definitely room for improvement. Okay. Like for example, I got hit with a copyright claim because my mic was kind of glitching out. It kept on doing like a little feedback kind of thing. It would go bzz kind of thing in the video, and I wasn't really speaking at the time, so it was just like dead air, bzz, dead air, bzz, dead air, bzz kind of thing. And I got hit with a music copyright claim by this random singer that I'd never even heard of before. I don't know. Um, hmm. Well, no, no, the from I was able to find the person that was trying to do the claim, and that was trying to do the claim. I saw it, the the claimant was from like like an official music studio. And I was able to find the artist and the song in question. So I was able you know, uh, to find it, online. But it sounded nothing like what was going on in the video, for one. Two, um, I wasn't playing the song, so like you're talking about, like a song that was like 3 minutes long. All all it tried to copyright claim was that very beginning intro of the song, which just had the little distortion at the very beginning, and that's it. And it was trying to like compare the two between it was like the song has this little distortion at the very beginning and with little spaces, and my mic giving some kind of feedback was also having the same exact style to it. So obviously these two are the same. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? You know, not only did I, right. Well, one, did um, I did a defense of it, and I'm like, you guys are absolutely stupid if you're thinking that this is a direct copy of the song because it is not. I am not playing the song whatsoever. This is a microphone feedback distortion happening. So you guys are being very stupid on this. Either um, you know, you're gonna want to take this down like immediately, or you're gonna have to remove this claim immediately, or I will, seek, penalties against you. I would have gone, you know, again, I would have tried to go find a lawyer to go against them on that because I can understand if it was, hey, I'm playing the song, sure, no problem. I will concede on that, okay? But I wasn't. And, I clearly, definitively show the fact that I did not play that song, okay? I don't even have it in my, I never even heard of the artist before. I don't even own that song whatsoever. I wasn't even playing that any kind of radio for it to even pop up, in my stream at the time. So there was a lot of points where it was like that was never a possibility for it to even possibly occur. And so, I would definitely like hire a lawyer and go, these guys are, potentially taking revenue from me. This is a blatant abuse of copyright. Let's go after them. And you know what? I probably would have tried to make that a class action and said, hey, anybody else getting hit with this? Join me, you know, because then it would have been like, hey, we hit the record companies, where it hurts, money. So, yep. So, I then I tried to send like a feedback to YouTube as well, saying these guys are abusing their copyright claim on this particular issue. This is a, mic feedback issue, not the song itself. If they continue with this, I suggest that you remove their copyright claim abilities because they are abusing it. So, needless to say, that copyright claim disappeared. But still, it's really unfortunate that you know. But on one hand, I get it. Like I said, they're trying to use bots to try to help them scour all the videos that are out there to make sure that the no one's uploading songs that they don't own copyright to, and and saying, hey, um, I'm putting this song on YouTube and I'm gonna go ahead and listen to it as much as I want, free of charge, kind of thing. And everybody else can listen to it free of charge. I get it. It's not cool. Um, but when my video is like 4 hours long and you're saying, hey, this 1 second microphone distortion is the result of a copyright claim that will claim my entire 4 hour video of any kind of ad revenue that might eventually come to me, when I do eventually get monetization. That would suck. You know, that's that. I've already checked that folder. There is a under the documents folder, Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII, Steam, and then there is a user folder with a bunch of numbers after it. Supposedly that's where the save files are meant to go, from what I understand, and there's nothing in there. So, yeah. Yeah, um, I mean, I see the folder in there. I mean, I could try to go into like the properties and see if, I mean, there is a previous versions tab under the properties when you go through Windows, but the problem is that it's the same exact thing as the Steam. You know, you have to have a restore point set up prior to go back to. Okay, if you don't have that restore point set up in Windows, there's nothing to go back to. There's nothing to, you know. Well, the problem is like I said, for Windows you have to set a restore point. You know, so if you don't have that restore point set, there's nothing for Windows to go back to. Okay, so so same kind of deal with the Steam, the backup and restore games. You know, you do the restore the previous backup, and if the program backups are not found, then there's nothing uh, to load. Kind of thing. So that's all. Yeah, I've pretty much resigned to the fact that there's no I don't have a file. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh well, it's okay. Um, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stop stream. I mean, you're welcome to, you know, if you want to, we can maybe play something offline, you know. Um, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop streaming here. You know. Okay, sounds good. Um, uh, yeah, hopefully it'll work too. We'll find out. We'll see. Um, you know, um, just been having a lot of hiccups lately with my games apparently. But I mean, let's face it. It happens with older games too. So older game, older games and older systems, and you're trying to push them forward into the newer systems, and there's always going to be some little amount of compatibility issues or something like that that just won't necessarily work. So what's your plan for tomorrow? Okay, okay. I was kind of curious. Have you been? I know that you, Vinny, have been kind of teaming up with that one content creator uh, a bit on. Yeah. Are you still doing that or no? Okay. No, I was just kind of curious. Yeah. Um, yeah, I have obviously World of Warships scheduled. Um, but I've been kind of debating as to whether or not I wanna like, right now I have it set for 2 days. I'm really, yeah, 2 days is, one day was fine. I can deal with the Texas community with one day, but 2 days can be, it feels very draining sometimes. Um, but then again, 2 days, you know, to me, it feels like, one day is good for you know, my mental, but at the same time, 2 days is kind of needed for, one, helping out the clan get to um, the um, getting enough points for the clan battles, and then of course helping out in the clan battles themselves. So, so it's like, 2 days is kind of necessary to do both of those. Because I had a clan member, at one point in time, he was basically saying, "Hey, sure you might be trying to help out with, setting up the clan battles, but you're not helping out in the clan battles themselves." I'm like, "Oh, well, I step in if there is a, direct need of my help. Like if we don't have like the points to go against the other team, then I would step in and help out, earn, 10 points, right?" But I guess that wasn't enough back then. Um, so I want to make sure that I'm there for the clan. Um, I don't know. And in some ways, I'd like to kind of go back to playing a different game on Fridays, but yeah, I don't know. Not sure. Um, but I mean, I have 3 games right now that is story based. Dragon Age, Final Fantasy 7, and Subnautica Below Zero. So it's not like I'm always in a multiplayer game that has no ending. you know. Um, so, all right, my friend. You get out of here. You go get some food. I'm gonna go ahead and end stream, and I'll pick it up tomorrow. So, you have yourself a good night. All right, take care. Oh, I just realized that none of you was able to actually hear Blackheart. Oh well. Sorry about that, folks. Um, this this stream is a little. Well, I mean, this stream is kind of already scuffed as it was anyway. Dealing with all the um, technical issues and the like. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I've dealt with them. I want to play. I just want to kind of close down and relax a little bit. Um, so I want to wish everybody, um, stay healthy, stay happy. Um, go get some water, go get a snack, relax. Um, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for chatting. But that's it. So have a good night. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.